If you thought HBO's Euphoria was intense in high school, saddle up. Season 3 of Euphoria picks up 5 years later, and life looks very different.
Hello, Rue. You owe me money.
No matter what they're chasing, money, love, or redemption, no one can escape their fate.
The problem is, if you make a deal with the devil, there's no turning back.
Don't miss the 3rd season of Euphoria, starring 2-time Emmy winner Zendaya. Premiering April 12th on HBO and HBO Max, with new episodes every Sunday.
Hello, hello, hello. A little bit of a surprise special episode for you guys. Didn't mention it, didn't say anything. It didn't make it to air. I never talked about it. I know guest judge for this week's episode, Julianne Nicholson. She's a friend of mine. But I didn't know she was going to be a guest judge until I saw the preview from episode 12. So, they show the preview for the following week. And I was watching the preview and I saw her and I was like, what the fuck? Like, Julianne was a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race? So I hit her up and I emailed her and I said, would you be willing to come on the show and talk about your experience as a guest judge? And she agreed. And so we recorded an interview. Robert and I spoke to her. And I will tell you this beforehand. I went into this interview thinking, because Julianne's a working actress, and I'll tell you about her in a second. But I went into this thinking, this was just a stop on her publicity tour for something. And she's not a Drag Race fan, so I'm going to tell her all these things about Drag Race. But you'll hear that's not the case. She's actually a huge Drag Race fan, and she's going to talk about that. But the other thing, I'll just give you a heads up, is I caught early on, and you'll hear it, she doesn't want to ruin the illusion of the show. So, I thought it was going to be very little about the show and more about the sort of how does it work, the sort of how the sausage is made. But you'll see, I picked up on it and I pivoted as a host that she didn't really want to talk about how the sausage was made. She wants to, and I get it, from a magician's perspective, I get wanting to keep the illusion, real, So, but that said, I'm very stoked that I know someone who was a guest judge. Julianne Nicholson is this amazing actress, 2-time Emmy Award winner, won for Mayor of Easttown on HBO. Then she won last year for a run of a series of episodes she did as a guest star on Hacks, where she played this dance mom who goes viral, and they have her on the show. It's very funny. And so, and by the way, in a bunch of other things, August Osage County, she's a working actress. You've seen her in everything. She's in a ton of stuff. And so if you look up her IMDb or her Wikipedia, I'm sure there'll be some sort of project she was involved with that you definitely know her work from. I mean, that's how prominent of a character actress she is. So with that, here is the interview that Robert and I did with Julianne Nicholson as about her experience as a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
At Planet Fitness, we've got everything you need to get stronger with best-in-class equipment and free fitness training, so you can give everything you've got. Join today starting at just $15 a month. Planet Fitness, we're all strong on this planet. See Club for details.
I thought we were just going to talk about like, oh, what does, Michelle say to you? But we have to talk kind of really about this episode, your experience and all that, and so you already know, Julianne, that everyone's freaking out about this episode.
Yeah. I have Instagram. I see what the people think. They are not happy.
Oh,
the people have spoken. I feel like
simple.
There's always like justice for Jane. That's mostly been my algorithm.
Okay, so Robert's here, by the way. So this is going to lead to my first question and a lot of people had told me to ask you.
Okay.
What did you know going in? What do they tell you? Or do you just go in blind? They tell you nothing.
You are completely blind.
Oh.
So you show up. And by the way, this was like bucket list for me.
It was? I didn't know that.
Yes. I'm obsessed with this show. So I waited on RuPaul like back in the early 90s in this restaurant, Sugar Reef, that I used to work in. I went to Wigstock. There was a number of people that I worked with that were drag queens as well. So there was I was sort of in the world of that. And I love drag queens. I also used to go to Provincetown when I was a kid, which was with my introduction to drag queens. And that's the story for another day. But I love Rue. I love the show. Phoebe, my daughter Phoebe, and I have watched every single episode of every season, as well as every single All-Star episode where we love this show. And so
did you know that most of my money comes from a podcast talking about RuPaul's Drag Race?
Do you know what? When I got your email, I was like, oh, that's right. Because I wasn't watching when we were having pizza together.
Okay.
I came to it in 2022.
Okay.
With season 13.
Sure.
Watched that season.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what a terrible time to show up to it.
Is that sarcasm?
No.
That was a brilliant
There's so
season.
much better material in the archives in the past seasons.
In fact,
then we went back to one and watched every one.
Okay. We'll have to nerd out in a bit.
That was our gateway season. And then it was just like gobbled them all up. So this was huge for me. And so going in as such a giant fan, and also they were so nice. They were so welcoming. Like they took such good care of me. Like everybody top to bottom was just
literally
heaven. Like the whole day I was in like a joy blackout. It was just like, But you show up and they're like, okay, well it's the acting challenge. And they give you a iPad and they show you the different scenes. That's it.
Was it already cut the way it shows in the episode, or was it just like a rough cut?
So also I did this like last May. And so with my aging brain, like details don't necessarily stay with me these days. Like I wondered actually if they had changed a little bit, the edits of what I had seen. So I can't give you a definitive answer. I wonder if they maybe changed a little bit from what I saw on the iPad, but I'm not really quite sure. But so you just go in. And so the thing is, so I don't know anything. I don't know these queens. I don't know any of their names. I'm like writing down their names. Like,
so they don't even give you like a cheat sheet, like
how to pronounce a complicated name.
They tell you who's who, and then you watch the videos, so then you can put it together. And then I think there is maybe when you're actually on the panel, maybe there's like a cheat sheet they give you, and then it's like time to go. And so I'm used to watching, like in my pajamas, like often on my laptop with my daughter next to me. So my relationship with the queens feels very intimate and like comfortable and cozy. And like, you grow to know them week to week. And so this just being dropped in, knowing nothing about any of them. And also it's like this great big soundstage that you're on, which is like dark, except for, of course, the stage, and chilly. And quiet, because they're filming. This is a job. This is a show that they're filming. So there's like a very respectful silence. The crew is so nice. Not to say that, also like Michelle and TS, who were there when I first got there, super welcoming and like chatty immediately. So I don't mean it's not like you can't talk. It's just like in this cavernous space, it feels kind of quiet. And then Rue came and she was delightful.
So she meets up with you first.
Yeah, on the panel. But yes, before we're filming.
So my first question, because I
don't see anyone until I'm on the panel.
Oh, you don't see anyone until you're on the panel?
Yeah.
So, okay, wait, hold on. This is where it gets nerdy and granular. But when I used to go to I don't know if Robert knows this, I used to go to the finales, all the live finales.
Oh, God.
right?
Love.
And
down on Wilshire, right? When they were down on that.
I did them all. They did the Orpheum, they did the UA, and then the one, my favorite one that I ever went to, which I almost left early because I was like, I don't want to stick around for this, but I didn't, was season 9 with Sasha Velour's wig thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Joe jumped out of his chair.
I jumped out of my chair. Yes, I did. And I sat next to that horrible Naisha Lopez. And don't get me started.
Please.
But
we've all heard it enough.
I know they've all heard it. Anyway, but one of the things I loved was that you saw everybody else, but you didn't see RuPaul until we saw her come out on the finale.
Yeah, when people lose their minds.
Yes. Was that the case with you when she came out on the main stage? Was that the first time you saw her, or she came out first and said hi?
I think she came. No. I think she came out first and said hello and all of that, and then did her, walk her reveal and walk out and intro.
The big question that everybody wants to know: do they tell you what the stupid question she's going to ask you is before she asks like? What was the question on your week? I don't remember.
Yeah. No, I know. I feel like I need to leave the people guessing on that one.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. I need to leave some mystique.
Some mystery. You know what I mean? Okay.
I think that's an adequate answer that we can glean from.
But that's everyone's biggest curiosity. I think she's not going to answer is what's written for them and what's not. But do they play the dumb music, the dun 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 dun, or is it quiet when she walks out?
I think it's quiet. Well, I know, like, for instance, when they do their walks, they do it twice, once with the music and once quiet. So I can't remember exactly. Honestly, like, it's almost a year ago that I filmed it, which is also crazy. I'm pretty sure I don't think she needs the music. I mean, she's got the music within. She doesn't need to hear it.
So let's get to this season and we can go back to this because I think we need to get to this season. So let's pretend you haven't seen the season. We're going to go blind. Like you're there, you're seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the sketches. So I have a different opinion of the sketches and Robert has his own opinion as well.
Okay. I'd love to hear your opinions.
I thought they were horrible, but let me tell you this though. Look, these people aren't trained improv and sketch people.
Yeah.
And I will also say that I think Jane and Nene were done a little dirty in that I felt with the other 3 sketches, Rue was a little bit more yes and helpful with them than with the Nene and Jane ones. And I don't think she did it on purpose. I just think that's just the way the cookie crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, what did you think?
I thought that they were just stupid camp fun.
That is true. That is true.
I was surprised that I enjoyed all of the stupid camp fun of it all because typically I'm the one raising my eyebrow being pretentious and snooty about it. But this time I just bought into the enjoyment in the silly environment. But I do hear Joe in that I do think Rue was being a little bit, either she couldn't inhabit the characters as well just functionally, or there was an intention for her to pull back a little bit and make it more challenging in Nene and Jane's sets. But we like to also be little conspiracy theorists. So who knows if we're just spouting nonsense.
Here's the other thing, too. Let me be honest with you up front about something. First of all, I'm sure, as you know, Julianne, the biggest surprise of the day for me has been that you're a huge Drag Race fan. So to be honest with you, walking into this, I was like, I was already making up a story in my head. And I was like, poor Julianne. She doesn't know anything about this show. She doesn't know anything about this. And so she didn't know that this is like the Olympics of drag and that we analyze every little second of the show like it's the Torah, right? And so, but Robert and I we've already done all the shows. I have 3 shows about every episode.
Oh
so we've
God.
already recorded all 3 shows. And so I know Robert did feel that way. And I was the
naysayer.
But
meaning thinking that I knew nothing?
No, thinking that these sketches were horrible.
Got it. Okay.
But I also wonder, though, is I have been to like live tapings of television shows or Jimmy Kimmel Live or something live, something where I usually, when I'm watching it on TV, I go, but in there I'm like, this is the funniest thing that's ever happened. And it's genuine. And I'm wondering if you were in the moment there, you were like, I'm here. And so you're just caught up in the mystique of it all. But then you watched it back on TV the other day, and you still felt the same way?
Yeah, I felt like, first of all, I don't think I can really put words to what a surreal day it was for me. Having spent so many hours with them in my home.
Yes.
It was literally like Willy Wonka, and I was suddenly inside my TV and like, what's happening? So I felt like it felt tricky. Like even just getting the sketches without having any backstory, which is great because that's how you watch them like pure. I just felt like, oh my God, it's so hard going in and watching them do their runway. There's really not a whole lot of exchange. I mean, there is what you see, but there's also a lot of just them standing in front of you, not saying anything, which is very strange in this great big soundstage. But I felt like, no, it's so funny. Like when especially Michelle and Rue, of course, are just like, they're hilarious. They've just been doing it forever. They get each other's humor. Like I genuinely laughed. Actually, when Phoebe and I were watching, Phoebe's like, "Oh, you like that one?" Because even if I wasn't on camera, we could hear me laughing. Like, no, I laughed. I was in it. I was fully in it with them. It didn't feel like. I mean, yes, I'm a fan, but I'm also discerning. And so it felt like they're funny, but they're also pros. They're just so good at it. So good at it. TS was next to me chatting the whole time. She's awesome. She was so funny. Michelle's down the other end. So we would talk between setups, but she was so generous. We exchanged numbers. I can't wait to hang with her.
Oh, 'cause she's in London all the time.
Yeah.
She's there all the time. Yeah,
she is.
So when they're walking down the runway, I know that there's two, one with the music, which I think that one's first, right? So you get a chance to look at it and
I can't
write
remember.
all your hilarious jokes.
I hope so, probably, but I can't remember.
And then they do the one quietly. Do you feel weird? They're just walking, trying to pretend to be oblivious, but you're talking about them and saying like, Thorn. I don't remember eating Thorn.
Yeah, I did notice like just how quiet the whole place felt when people aren't talking, or even when one voice is talking or two voices. It just feels like you're in this great big cave, basically. So it's a little strange, yeah, because it's just so different from my usual experience of a runway. So it's just different.
What an amazing line. I love that line.
So you watch this and you see everything happen. And we'll get, again, I want to get back to the show part of it now. And first of all, everyone's talking about Nene's cartwheel into a backflip and landing it in heels. Were you gagged when that happened? And you're like...
Yes. Gagged. Yes. It was... Come on. She pulled it out of nowhere. But I wish that I forgot my distance glasses. I wish I had my glasses on. I wish I could have been more but yeah, of course, it's totally impressive. And it's even more impressive, of course, on screen when you're watching it, because you're front row, you feel like you're right there.
Now we're getting close to the end. We only have one regular competition episode, then it's the Lollapalooza, then the finale. So at this point, I mean, the eliminations are always emotional, but then it's such a shock. Did they tell you this is a shocking elimination? Did you know what a shocking elimination it was?
No. Nope.
They don't say anything. They're just like,
Nope.
So you've watched this whole season knowing that Jane went home in the final five.
Guys, do you want to know what? I couldn't remember. Because I couldn't remember who it was
just some chick.
It's literally as much as a surprise to me as it was to you who was in the bottom. I could not remember.
Well, yeah, because you don't have any point of reference. Yeah.
I was like, Phoebe was like, do you know who? I was like, I don't remember. I remembered Mikey, and I remembered Juicy.
As you should.
Because they I don't know, stood out a little bit more. Mikey, actually, her video for me when I was watching there blew me away.
Yeah, it was good.
It was really good.
That one I do think is good.
I feel like I wonder if it was maybe longer, the one I watched. And maybe it wasn't, but she felt genuine, present, in the moment, funny, mixed it up. Like, I thought she was incredible. So, like, she really stood out to me. And then as the season went on, I was like, oh, it must have been Darlene. Like, by process of elimination, I was like, oh, Darlene was that one, the Christian lady.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, and that was definitely Jane at the airplane. But then I was like, who was the homeowners association? I couldn't remember who that was. But I love Nene. And I can't believe, like, I feel like she's the one who sort of is the most difference between in and out of drag. Like, when the way she moves, the way she dances. Anyway, I love all of them. But I couldn't remember until actually when we were watching their lip sync, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember. And I mean, Nene tore it up.
She really did.
And you thought that in the room too. You thought did the camera capture, the edit capture it?
I think that it was more clear to me watching from home.
Oh, more clear to you watching from home.
Yeah. And I don't think it's the edit. I don't think you're being led. I think it's just that thing of like being front and center, being close up to the action.
And the girls looked shocked on camera, but you didn't clock that when you were there.
Nope.
So now because
you've
been watching
out of my sight range.
Yeah. And then they just leave. And then how long? This is a weird, nerdy question. So then they leave, whatever. How long after that are you like getting in your car and going, bye?
Pretty soon after. You're like giving hugs and like saying thank you and saying goodbye. And I got my pictures with Raven and
that's right. Raven's there.
And Michelle and TS, and just said goodbye to the producers, and everybody was so sweet. And went back to my trailer. Got out of drag and went home.
How long was your whole day?
It was I want to say I was probably there like, I don't know, 6 hours.
But doing what?
But I had hair and makeup.
Oh, okay.
I had hair and makeup, and then you watch the videos, and then, it was never rushed. Like it was pretty, but I also didn't feel like I was sitting around either.
How long are they when the girls go back for deliberations? How long are they back there?
When Rue's talking?
Well, they go
when we're talking about them.
So you do the critiques, and then they go. She sends them back.
Yeah.
How long before they come back again?
I don't remember, but not that long. I don't think.
Did you go back and see them in Untucked?
No, I wanted to.
Did they offer you the choice?
I was going to, but like something had happened or something. It's like I could have. And actually when it came down to like, okay, you can go back now, I was like, actually forget it. I don't want to get in the way. I don't want to it's fine. The backstage can just live in my imagination.
What would you have told them as your imparted wisdom?
Oh no, I didn't even need to meet them. I would have loved to have met them. I definitely didn't want to do anything on camera, but I would just say I would just tell them how important what they're doing is and how much joy it's given so many people. I've had so many people reach out to me that didn't know I was a Drag Race fan, or, are Drag Race fans themselves that I wouldn't have guessed. And that's been so cute. People saying oh, this show has gotten me through some dark times. I can't believe you're on it. Iconic, amazing, bravo. So I would just try to impart the importance, even, of course, everybody wants to be crowned the winner, but I don't know. It's just being a part of that show is important, and we all love all of them.
Wait, so hold on. Now we have to get to this. So now you've been watching this whole season. What are your thoughts on the season? Again, dumb me thought she didn't know. She was just being shuffled from one place to another for press for Paradise or whatever. Right?
No, we called them.
You called them?
Oh, nice.
Yes. My publicist called them and was like, Julianne, if there's ever an opportunity, Julianne would love to be on the show.
Oh.
And then not long after they reached out.
Do you feel any type of way that they decided to have you on the Karen themed episode?
I don't. I was looking at it more from the actor standpoint and rather the middle-aged white lady standpoint.
No, but I really do think, because someone did ask me, why would they have her on this episode? And I think they try and have actors on acting things and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, because that was around the time that Hacks was doing its thing. Do you think it could have been tied into the Dance Mom thing or whatever? And
I think that was a happy accident.
Okay.
I think, but who knows? Maybe Maybe. You never know what makes people say yes. I'm sure that didn't hurt. And actually the Dance Mom, where it was the second one, I think, that aired either right before or right after I did it, where you realize that she's like gone off the rails. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
I will say, you know, Robert, I'm going to talk to Robert here. I've seen Julianne in so many things. And that one was the one where I was like, that was a different side of Julianne that I've ever seen before. I was like not expecting that. But it made me laugh out loud in a way that I was like, because I know you kind of laughing.
Okay.
Of you doing that.
Yes. Yes.
The other
It is always a gag when an actor acts.
No, but let me tell you something, Robert. You're saying that you're being funny, but I've said this about Julianne before is, you know, I know actors, I know actresses, and I will say that, I don't know, maybe Julianne can weigh in on this, but for me, it can be kind of hard for me to, when they're doing their thing, to forget that I know them.
Yes, to give yourself over to the character. Same.
But Julianne, very easily. Let me tell you, this is a small independent movie. I don't know if a lot of people saw it. This Janet Planet.
Oh, did you watch?
I did. I went with a cousin. I didn't say anything. I knew you were in it. And we were talking afterwards. And then he was talking about you saying wonderful things. I said, and that's when I dropped it. I was like, I know her. And I totally immediately got lost in that character.
Oh.
And so it's always been a skill that you have, that I immediately get super lost in whatever character you do.
Thanks, Joe.
But I also think it's funny that you've worked with the best of the best. And it seems like meeting RuPaul was up there for you.
Honestly, when I got the email from my publicist that they were like offering me an episode, I screamed. And when I told my family, I was more excited about that email than about
the Emmys.
Maybe just below the Emmys.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and my family, when I told my family, because they know how important that show is to me, they were more excited about it than most of the things that I get to do. Yeah, it was a big deal.
I can't wait till the next time I see you, whenever that is, now that you live somewhere else.
Hopefully soon.
To totally nerd out about this show. Because in our crew of friends, none of them watched this show. Chris and Mercedes and I did watch In Completion season 5 together, live.
Wait, of Drag Race?
Of Drag Race.
Wait, your friends don't watch Drag Race, did you say?
Well, I meant our circle of the ones we have in common.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
our
yes.
mutuals.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Chris and Mercedes and I did watch season 5 together, but other than that, I don't think they've ever watched. They're big Jinx Monsoon fans.
Love Jinx.
So they could nerd out about season 5 with us. But yeah, I'm there just alone, a Drag Race fan, you know.
Well, alone with your 3 podcasts. And Robert.
Yeah,
precisely.
And Robert. Yeah. But Robert, you know, let me ask you. So maybe Robert's better. Robert is our resident Drag Race. He does the random quotes I don't know and whatnot. Now that we know Julianne's a big fan, what are the fundamental questions we ask a big fan? Like, what's your favorite season? I mean, it's an obvious one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not good with the numbers of the season, but a standout for me is the Sasha Colby, Anitra.
See, this is really interesting. This is really interesting, Robert, because we've talked about this. The fact that she started at 13, her sphere of experience, even though she went back and watched them, is different than the ones like me and you who are cradle Drag Race fans.
For sure. It's a different experience.
What did you think about the first 6 seasons? Given that I think fans like Joe who have been watching since Logo, there is this very specific sort of sacred cow about it all.
I agree. It's like origin stories. So even though I went from 13 and then back to 1, actually we might have watched like 13, 14 or 12, 13, 14 and then gone back to 1. I mean, it's kind of incredible to like go back to the roots. Like It's pretty crazy. And I love that we've seen some of those queens in All Stars. Like there are some queens that just keep ticking and I'm here for them every time I see them. Like there's always a couple that pop every season.
Yeah, who are some of your favorite queens?
So many. Bob.
Okay.
Monet, Alyssa Edwards, Candy Muse, Mistress, Sasha Colby.
Interesting. What a dichotomy. we went from here to here.
I was with him, like, okay, Bob, Monet, and then she said Candy, and I went like, ooh.
I like Candy. Come on. You don't like Candy?
No, I literally, it's famous on the show how much hatred I have for her.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I just think she's mean and loud, which I think people say about me.
What's that like?
What about Vanjie?
She's fun. She is so loud. She reminds me of my cousins, though, so I have a familial sort of love for her. Okay.
I love Monet. There's so many, but also like it's so hard because there are so many that it's like I can't remember them all. Like when I'm.
Who does Phoebe like?
She loves all the ones that I just mentioned. She could probably remember a few more.
Did she say anything about your stint as a guest judge?
Oh yeah, what was her opinion?
She thought I did a great job.
You did do it.
She sort of,
that's lovely.
I was really nervous, of course, because I was like so nervous that, you want to say, you want to be funny, but you want to be like not trying too hard. You want to be a good judge. But she would have told me, though, my picture on the, like, where we're all standing on the runway, I was like, why am I standing there with my arms by my side? I was like, someone did not understand the assignment. I'm just like, I look like a deer in headlights.
Those photos are often very awkward, so you are in good company.
Okay, so for this season, what are your thoughts on this season? So we know you like Nene, but like, can you even remember back to like Didi Fuego and stuff like that, or?
Why are you so nasty about her?
Didi Fuego. I remember the name, but I'm not really remembering.
She was the first one out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Blondie.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Didi. I liked her.
Have said Chin.
I was sorry. I was sorry to see her go so quickly, actually.
So so you said earlier at the top of the conversation, you're like, oh, it was so controversial because everyone's justice for Jane. But a lot of the conversation was about, until she was eliminated. Oh, this season's so predictable. She's doing so well. We might as well just crown her the winner, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, so the warring faction right now is, yes, there are the people who are justice for Jane, and then there's people who are like, oh my God, finally the show did something to shake everything up.
Yeah.
Because
I guess both are true.
Well, because, so one of the things is, see, I don't think Julianne's a fan, but Robert, she's not like the way the people we deal with. So
you don't know that for sure. Don't mansplain.
Well, okay. Fagsplain. Yeah. So
more or less.
Do you know about this whole track record debate and whatnot? And
what do you mean?
So the fans, and even to a large degree, the queens, have always talked about track record and how safe someone is based on track record and track record, even though the judges have never said this.
Yes.
Right? No one has ever commented on track record. And so a lot of people say that this episode is very like a big like middle finger to the track record. Because for all intents and purposes, Jane had a much better track record going in than Nene did. And her getting eliminated showed that was not true.
Well, I think I've always thought it comes down unless the lip sync is more even.
Mm-hmm.
At which point I think probably track record might come into play.
Yeah.
But I felt like Nene won that lip sync.
No, she did. But there have been times when people have clearly won the lip sync, Ginger Minge, and they lose the lip sync and they win Ginger Minge.
Oh, listen, it's Rue's show. She's the queen. She does what she wants.
That is actually probably the prevailing rule.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
So anyway, but there was one more question that I had. It had to do with this season.
I will just say that I loved that Rue gave the crew the tip for the puppet show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, same. That was my very first note of the episode.
We were so happy. Phoebe and I were like, yes, that's who deserves that one.
That puppet show was terrible.
That was terrible.
But Robert, works on the production side of things. And so, of course, on the show, he was like, How does that work exactly? How they're going to do that? They start naming all these different contracts that have to be signed and stuff.
It's just possibly a deal memo. I don't know.
What's
Maybe
that?
a likeness agreement for getting on camera really quickly. I don't know. I was just curious about the legality of it. Just handing out money while willy-nilly. But that's not a question directed at you. This is just where my mind goes sometimes.
Yeah, interesting.
I remember my question. It was, we know that, this is a already known thing, that each critique, the girls are up there for about 20-ish minutes each while you guys go through your critiques. And so did you feel that what you saw in the edit, based on your memory, was a fair representation of what they were told? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it sounds lovely. I'm jealous, quite frankly.
There was more said, like everybody said more. But the gist of each of the critiques was what I remember.
Well, we are going to end it there. Julianne, thank you so much. I mean, this is our first guest judge, Robert, that we've ever had.
Well, hopefully not our last. I hope I actually get a chance to walk on into that glittery Willy Wonka space.
Yeah. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
Thanks, Jules. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Ford, Senior Awards Correspondent at Vanity Fair and co-host of Little Gold Men. Oscar season is upon us. Little Gold Men takes you behind the scenes of the race for the biggest prize in Hollywood.
There's 100 wrestlers in the room, but only one can be Oscar nominated.
Whether you're a movie lover or an industry buff, Little Gold Men from Vanity Fair has everything you need to know about this year's Oscar race. Follow and listen to Little Gold Men wherever you get your podcasts.